They question the Patriots' read again, and this time the response is coming straight from the trenches. New England spent big, believed big, and now people around the league are starting to show real respect. But respect without aggression is only decoration, and this roster still has serious holes that simply cannot be ignored. Today we've got a contract being validated, a bold trade idea entering the conversation, Drake May's protection being judged without context, and a massive young lineman fighting to earn his place. Drop a like if you want to see Foxborough attack its problems instead of preaching patience. Milton Williams has become the kind of subject that separates people who only read box scores from people who truly understand what really happens in the fight up front. When the Patriots gave him 4 years and $104 million in March of 2025, plenty of people thought New England had paid the wrong player at the wrong price at the wrong time. He came over from Philadelphia, and a lot of people still saw him as a rotational piece. Then the league responded loudly. In an ESPN survey with more than 70 coaches, executives, and scouts, Williams was voted the 9th best defensive tackle in football. 9th. Among monsters. Among players who destroy offensive game plans every single week. And I'm telling you, this is not the national media doing New England a favor. The national media usually takes forever to admit when the Patriots got something right. This is film. This is pressure. This is respect earned by force. Even with his season limited to 12 games because of a high ankle sprain, Williams finished 3rd among defensive tackles with a 9.6% pressure rate. He added 8 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and led qualified Patriots defensive linemen in both pass rush win rate and run stop win rate. That is rare, because we are not talking about a specialist who only comes in to chase quarterbacks. We are talking about a player who helps stop the run, wins inside, shifts across the front, and forces offenses to adjust protection. One NFL evaluator said New England has an anchor up front, that the defense was not the same without him, and described Williams as explosive, powerful, relentless, and effective from multiple alignments. That is exactly the point. Mike Vrabel is not trying to build a defense that looks good in off-season rankings. He needs pieces that change the physics of the game. Williams jumped from unranked in last year's survey to top 10 because the production became louder than the doubt. And with Christian Gonzalez already emerging as an elite corner, New England is starting to have something many people pretend not to see. Real defensive stars who are young, highly paid, and genuinely dangerous. Recognition cannot become a comfortable chair. The opposite. When you get that contract and that respect, the demand immediately rises. Has Williams already justified the investment? To me, yes. He pushed the conversation into a different tier. But the next step is even bigger. Turn that status into full dominance across 17 games and into January. Because in Foxborough, top 10 is great, but a Patriots defense does not want applause. It wants fear. And that is where this conversation stops being only about recognition and turns into appetite. If this defense already has Milton Williams in the middle, Christian Gonzalez locking down one side, Kevin Byard arriving on the back end after leading the league in interceptions last season, Draymond Jones coming off 7 sacks, and Jesus picked in the 2nd round, the next aggressive question becomes impossible to avoid. Why stop now? New England still has more than $37 million in cap space. That is not decorative money. That is ammunition. And when you have ammunition in an AFC that does not forgive passivity, sitting back and waiting for the roster to develop can quickly become a waste. The idea that showed up in a 3-team mock trade is bold. The Patriots would receive Josh Sweat from the Cardinals. Arizona would receive a 3rd-round pick from New England that could become a 2nd if Sweat reaches 10 sacks, plus a conditional 5th-rounder from the Chiefs. Kansas City would get Kayshon Boutte, and that Chiefs pick could become a 4th if Boutte reaches 900 yards. It is a trade projection, yes, but the logic absolutely deserves a serious conversation. The Cardinals are rebuilding. The Chiefs need receivers. The Patriots' wide receiver room got tighter after adding A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs, and Boutte in a contract year probably would not love seeing his role shrink after playing mostly out wide. On the other side, Josh Sweat had 12 sacks in Arizona last season, more than any Patriot had across the regular season and playoffs combined. He posted a 13.2% pressure rate and a 69.8 PFF run defense grade. He slowed down late in the year, dealt with an ankle issue after Week 16 against Atlanta, and played fewer snaps in the final 2 games. So no, this is definitely not risk-free. But risk exists in every move that tries to bring real impact. The alternative is trusting Harold Landry to return to his best after fading late in the year, trusting Draymond Jones to expand a role that begins with setting the edge against the run, trusting Jackass to get his contract situation settled, and trusting Elijah Ponder to take another jump. I like development. I like it even more when a front office sees a chance to clear a crowded position and add violence off the edge. Would a conditional third-rounder and Butte hurt? Of course, but if Sweat gets back to the pressure he created before the injury, the defense no longer depends only on interior collapse. It starts surrounding quarterbacks from every angle. That is the difference between a good defense and a defense that shortens big games. New England cannot act like a team scared of its own cap space. If the right opportunity appears, they have to squeeze it. Now we move from the hunger for another piece into a discussion that honestly irritates me, because some people are pretending one ugly playoff stretch somehow erased a full season of positive signs from Will Campbell. Hold up for a second. Before that playoff run changed the temperature of the conversation, PFF ranked the Patriots' starting offensive line 11th in its final 2025 rankings. The group with Campbell, Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury, Mike Onwenu, and Morgan Moses finished with an 86.5 pass-blocking efficiency rating, 7th best in the NFL, after New England ranked 31st in that same metric the year before. The line allowed only 13 sacks after allowing 33 the previous season. That is not a small detail. That is real structural repair. And Campbell, as a rookie out of LSU, allowed pressure on 6.3% of pass plays in that sample, the 12th best rate among 32 qualifying left tackles. Then came the other side of the narrative. A rough playoff run, Houston hurting the protection, Seattle exposing everything in the Super Bowl, and suddenly a lot of people treated Campbell like a guard project. Then the Patriots traded up to select Caleb Lomu, who played left tackle at Utah, and part of the national conversation already stamped Campbell as a problem. But they are leaving out the detail that changes the tone of the whole analysis. Campbell came back for the playoffs with a torn MCL in his right knee. Did he play poorly? Yes. Does he deserve criticism for the reps he lost? Yes. But pretending his health did not affect his anchor, base power, and lateral reaction is lazy analysis. During the regular season, against teams like the Browns, Saints, Bills, Falcons, Raiders, Buccaneers, and Steelers, he allowed 4 sacks and 22 pressures, with clean games against Pittsburgh, Buffalo, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. For a 21-year-old rookie left tackle, that is absolutely not failure. That is a foundation. What happened in the playoffs has to become fuel, not a life sentence. Sharp Football ranked the Patriots' new line 15th entering 2026, with votes ranging from 11th to 23rd, exactly because there is division on Campbell. Fine, let there be division. I would rather have a young player who already showed real ability, got hit on the cruelest stage, played hurt, and now has a full year to respond, than a national narrative pretending everything started in January. New England added Elijah Vera-Tucker, moved Jared Wilson to center, has Lomu as a possible swing tackle, and is trying to build enough depth so Drake May is not held hostage by one knee, one injury, or one bad night. Campbell does not need to be shielded from accountability. He needs to be judged with context. And if he comes back healthy, stronger, and competitively angry, a lot of people are going to have to swallow how quickly they tried to downgrade a player who, for most of the year, looked exactly like the kind of pillar the Patriots were searching for. And when we talk offensive line, we can not only look at the names that show up at the top of the broadcast. Serious teams are also built with the 7th-round pick who learns, waits, and does not become dead weight on the roster. Marcus Bryant is that case. Picked 220 in the 2025 draft, he came from SMU, where he played 42 games, made 29 starts, and earned first-team All-AAC honors in 2023. Then went to Missouri and became an immediate starter at left tackle. The body stands out. 6'7", 320 pounds, long arms, a massive wingspan, a 4.97 40, and an 8.99 relative athletic score. That is the physical mold of an NFL tackle. As a rookie, he played 12 games, but only played offensive snaps in 3. Some people see irrelevance. I see a project who survived the first filter. The scouting report shows why. Prototypical size, power from his base, heavy initial contact, a firm anchor, and the ability to move the line of scrimmage in the run game. But there is no charity here. Bryant plays too high at times, loses leverage, leans into contact, compromises his balance, takes too long to climb to the second level, and can struggle to handle stunts and twists. So the evaluation is simple. The tools are clearly there, but the finished product is not. If Caleb Lomu is the main swing tackle, Bryant has to fight for depth, heavy packages, and injury insurance. And I want to hear from the Patriots fan base on this one. Would you keep Bryant as a tackle project because of the size and power, or push for a faster adjustment into an interior depth role? In Foxborough, a roster spot has to become useful. The message today is strong. The Patriots are not being judged with the same patience other teams get, so New England has to answer with force, not with requests for understanding. Milton Williams has already brought respect. The search for an impact edge could turn a good defense into a real threat. Will Campbell deserves accountability, but he also deserves context. Marcus Bryant is a project, but a project with an NFL body and a chance to become useful depth. If you want this kind of read every day, subscribe to the channel and ride with us. Foxborough does not want excuses. It wants direction, force, and wins.